Soufriere Hills Volcano in Montserrat, 1995 to 1999. The island of Montserrat is about 12 miles long and 7 miles wide, with the Soufriere Hills Volcano located in the southern half of the island, about 3 miles from the southern tip. Montserrat is located in the Caribbean, in a string of islands between Venezuela and the Dominican Republic. The volcanic eruption of Soufriere Hills, after being dormant for over 3 centuries, actually lasted multiple years. This is the island, and here are the areas that were affected by the pyroclastic flows from the volcano. In January 1992, the earthquake swarms began in the southern half of the island and would continue well into the eruption. On July 18, 1995, the eruption began, but it was only phreatic, meaning it was the result of heated groundwater or surface water. For the rest of July and August 1995, there was lots of steam, a little bit of ash, and another seismic swarm. August 21, 1995 is the first big phreatic eruption, which covered the capital city Plymouth with an ash cloud and darkness for 15 minutes, leading to the first evacuation. In later 1995, dome activity begins, with hybrid earthquakes, mudflows, and phreatic eruptions. The southern half of Montserrat was evacuated on December 1st, and the lava dome that began forming on November 14th continued to grow, and lava was identified. On April 3, 1996, the first pyroclastic flow occurred, caused by the collapse of lava domes. It triggered the third evacuation after traveling 1.5 miles. On May 12th, pyroclastic flows reached all the way to the ocean on the edge of the island. The domes continued to grow, and frequent and intense seismic activity occurred. On September 17th and 18th, there was the first magmatic explosion, which destroyed houses, rained down rocks and 600,000 tons of ash into the southern half of the island, while creating an ash plume up to 40,000 feet. For the remainder of 1996, dome growth continued, as well as some pyroclastic flows. In 1997, pyroclastic flows increased in frequency and size, traveling to more places in the island, like the White River Valley and Gages Valley. On June 25th, pyroclastic flows had reached within 50 meters of the airport and many towns in the Belham Valley, with 7 confirmed fatalities and 19 presumed dead. The death toll for this eruption is fairly low because so many people had already been evacuated. In later 1997, pyroclastic flows reached Plymouth, the capital city, causing a lot of destruction. The volcano caused a lot of damage, coating everything in ash. Parts of Plymouth were buried a few meters deep with volcanic debris. In later flows, some of the buildings even caught on fire. The people of Montserrat also had to worry about the damage from the many earthquake swarms throughout the eruption. The eruption buried several towns with debris, but the volcanic gases didn't do too much in the way of harming Montserrat inhabitants because the plume was blown over into uninhabited areas in the north. However, long-term exposure to the ash can cause health problems such as silicosis, which scars the lungs, especially for those who already have respiratory issues. A lot of vegetation was burned and destroyed, including palm trees and tree ferns. Most of the forests were dead. Ones that survived, like the bamboo forest, decreased in size and are still many times covered in ash. Diversity of wildlife like bats, birds, insects, lizards, and butterflies were destroyed. Coral reefs near the island were even affected when scientists found brain coral covered in ash and that most of the coral had been bleached. Any animals that were in the evacuation exclusion zone were likely killed or starved out due to a lack of a food source. Bulls and large pigs that somehow survived and now live in the area will frequently attack people who go into these unsafe areas. These new exclusion zones are ways to try and protect the public and prevent any more deaths, and those who enter unauthorized may be prosecuted. These laws are largely because of continued eruptions, flows, dome growth, and ash that continued after 1990 to 2013. Cleanup efforts include cleaning ash off the roof of non-collapsed buildings and attempting to rebuild others. Authorities even had to ration water for a while because of the low supply in the reservoirs. It is a massive cleanup effort, and Montserrat is still recovering with less than 5,000 people on the island.